So you want to get into MTG, huh? Well, let me tell you, it's quite the journey, definitely, to start playing into this and kind of exploring what this game is all about. I think it's kind of important, to kind of experience it, even as like more of a person. I think that's graduated to like more of a singleton format, like 100 chord format. I would say that's a graduation. I feel like you'll be starting in standard. You'll probably, mess around in historic a little bit. And then eventually you'll find probably Brawl, and you'll probably play that for the most part. But I think it's important to kind of return to standard and kind of check out what the new cards are all about, because they are super, super strong. And the thing about it is, guys, is you really don't have to break your bank. I've kind of accrued a lot of uncommons and uncommons here. The rares and mythics I'm not so hot with. But the thing is that you really don't need like rares now to really be competitive. And I want to kind of illustrate this. And it is true, guys. For a beginner in standard best of one, it's gotta be red. Your red cards are going to be extremely strong and powerful. They dominate the format in best of one. Let me illustrate for you a fantastic card. The Heartfire Hero. This is an uncommon card, and it is 1 mana. Valiant. Whenever this creature becomes a target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, put a 1/1 counter on it. When this creature dies, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. In the right hands, this card is an absolute powerhouse. This thing is going to scale up. It's going to be doing a lot of damage, and simply put, whenever it dies, you can deal that power to someone's face. So, in only a 20 life format, you are well on your way mathematically to getting there. Now, let's kind of co-opt this with another amazing card. Monstrous Rage is an amazing 1 mana uncommon card. It's at instant speed. Target creature gets 2/0 until an end of turn. Create a monster roll token attached to it. So in this particular circumstance, if you enchanted your Heartfire Hero and you were basically attacking in, the Valiant trigger would set off. You get a 2/2, and then you would add an additional 2 power to this creature. It would then be a 5/3 at that point. Sorry, because the Valiant, that aura token is a 1/1 in general. And Trample, this card is like 3 cards in 1. And then you're putting it on this thing, and now this thing's a 5/3, and it's trampling over. And God, if it dies, it's a 5 more damage to the opponent's face. It's like, how can you like defend against this? This is like crazy. Additionally, the Swift Spear is just actually just completely busted in itself too. This thing has haste and prowess, and it's just a simple 1/2 that each time you for instance, cast a non-creature spell such as a Monstrous Rage, it's going to get a 1/1 till end of turn. So once again, Monstrous Rage on here, I believe, if I do my math correctly, it would be a 2/3 to start. You get the 1/1 3/4. It does become a 5/4. That's usually the math for a beefed up Swift Spear, and it has Trample with that monstrous roll token put on it. Fine. Now the thing about a budget realm, we want to damage the opponents too. We want to have like some single target removal. We can definitely get into probably like a burst lightning is fine. That's totally cool. Even like a shock is fine. Just one. These are cards that will just deal single instance of 2 damage. They're great with our prowess creatures because they're so cheap. They can do damage to opponent's face. They can hit a creature. They can kind of clear the runway. They're just very versatile. So far, we spent no rares in this. Just commons and uncommons so far. Fantastic. just kind of swimming along here. Now the next dimension of this is when we add the next color, and that's kind of when mana bases come in and you want to upgrade your mana base eventually. But we can totally do it with the budget build, and basically you want to co-opt this very strong synergy now in this format is auras. So Monstrous Rage is also an aura. So that's whenever it enters, it will proc the Scavenger as well. So this is just nice synergy with a Monstrous Rage, and we get to make our creatures a little bit stronger. There's also, Sheltered by Ghost is probably the best card in the format. And why? Because it just basically hits any permanent on the battlefield. We'll remove it, put it underneath another creature, and then that creature will actually get Ward 2 and Lifelink. Completely bizarro card, to say at least. It's just like I said, it's like an amalgamation of a bunch of cards on one card. It just this is where the value comes in. Is basically you're putting like a lot of different things, attributes onto one creature. So enchant creature control, when this aura enters, so this would proc your Scavenger, which would add 1/1 counter to a creature. Also, when this aura enters, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until this aura leaves the battlefield. Enchanted creature gets 1/0 and has lifelink and ward 2. So I would say like the ward 2 is really the big deal about this. In general, I would say the taking of the permanent is brutal. The fact that you get a 1/0 buff is also very nice. So obviously that's just a 4/of. Also, Wings of Flight is a card and a half, I would say. Wings of Flight is also very good. Feather of Flight, I'm so sorry. Alright, let's try this again. Feather? Yep, Feather of Flight is that nice enchantment there. One generic, one plains. Enchant creature. When this aura enters, draw a card. So yeah, there's some card advantage built on this. Enchanted creature gets 1/0 and has flying. It's fantastic. Enchanting the Heartfire hero, for instance, with this Feather of Flight would give this thing flying and give us a card and a buff. So far, we're very good. Now, I think that the secret sauce here is the Itali's favor. That's kind of what I've been seeing, and this is a busted common. Enchant creature you can control. Whenever this aura enters, discover 3. Enchanted creature gets 1/1, has trample. This thing will find your Sheltered by Ghost. It will find your Feathers of Flight. Simply just attaches to a creature, and you're kind of just on your way, right? Okay, so far so good, and now basically it's kind of up to us to get a little protection in here. You definitely want to run a little bit of protection. So Sarge Mage Rescue is that nice aura too, and flash enchanted creature you control. As long as this aura enter this turn, enchanted creature has hexproof. Enchanted creature gets 1/1. That's fine, and that is very nice. In terms of the missing cards here, I would say, let me just kind of illustrate. There is a couple mouses that would really kind of get busy in this deck. They are the rare kind. The Emberheart Challenger is probably your most fantastic choice here, if you had the rare wild cards, just because whenever this thing gets enchanted, you get to peel off a card from your library and you can play it for that turn. There's no shortage of why this deck is not tier 1. You also have these crazy mouses, these manifold mouses, and in fact, if you basically just pay the 2 generic in here, this thing will copy itself and make 2 of these things that basically at the beginning of turn will grant double strike or trample to another mouse. And actually that targeting will actually proc both the Heartfire hero and the Emberheart Challenger. They're just insano in the main brain. We have 2 of them, so I might as well just play them in here. We're working off our budget, but they're just so good. There it is. That's what we got. So that's what we can get. In this terms of Enchantress, which we're doing just from experience, you might not just be kind of willy-nilly it, but I would say you want to probably run about 18 creatures, I'd say, because you want to be able to enchant your creatures, right? Even a card like Murex, which I'll kind of illustrate in a second, is probably pretty good here. But basically, let's see what we got. Let's see how many creatures we have assembled here. Kind of get these to the side. That's fine. Yeah, we don't have too many yet. I'd say we're running a more non-creature spells than not. And we do not have to run 24 lands. We're probably in this kind of low curve. We should probably run about 20 maximum. So let's see how many creatures we have. 4, 8, 12, 13, 14. So that would put us about right. Like 20 lands, 18 creatures. I'd say that seems about right. Like I said, you probably would do your best with these Emberheart Challenger and Manifold Mouses. My idea for this particular deck, we could see what else has haste. We want to kind of get in and get out. I don't even mind like some of those weird armadillo creatures, but see what's hasty here. What do we like here for another creature? Scoundrel's kind of interesting. We do have this Slickshot Show Off. Obviously, that's just a fantastic card. I might put that in there because that's within my budget, just to like kind of show off like what a deck like this does if you have these particular wild cards. But I also want to kind of like illustrate like a deck that perhaps that you would still function well off of. The card that I like think would probably be appropriate is just like the Hunter Cat. Just because it like draws cards and puts a body on the battlefield, I think that would be like probably sufficient, like for your earlier stages, and it would be good because you'd be drawing off of it. I think it would be more than fine. So what I'll do is I'll put two different versions in here, like I'll put the Helpful Hunter version like as a budget list, and then just the list that I'm running, which will be fine in general. It's like. And we have the Rages, we have the Slickshot Show Off. Is there anything else that we kind of want to run that might be good? We have 2 Shard Mages Rescues. I think that's probably pretty good. Let's see, Ward. I really don't mind running like a few Armadillos too, just because the built-in Ward with all the auras that we're kind of rocking in. Oh, you know what the best card is though, guys? For this, in particular, is the Ethereal Armor. That's just a killer. So basically this will give 1/1 for 1/1 buff for each enchantment that's already on this thing. So I think at first I was like kind of maybe thinking we might need a little more interaction with like the shocks and stuff. But honestly, you probably don't even need these at this point. Like, they're probably just like overly redundant, and you're probably going to get the job done with just the auras. And like I said, basically, instead of like these particular cards, you could run the Helpful Hunters and probably like an Armadillo and be like kind of excited about it. To be honest, in fact, we should probably run an Armadillo in this deck, like a one of, just to kind of showcase it. And I think we're kind of cool here. We're just kind of, presenting this deck here, and just, I would say we can. I'm always interested in Murex because it's just like, I don't even know if I even have any. I don't. I just think this card is so interesting. Like the fact that it makes bodies is just kind of incredible to me. Like it's so good for an aura deck that maybe loses gas, like we have nothing to enchant, and maybe our opponent like has wiped everything, and we could do something like a Murex on their end step and put like another threat on there and like just threaten pressure. I just always think this is a really interesting card in general, but we don't have it, so we just don't. But let's see what we have in terms of a mana base, and we can kind of look at the different lands that you might have available versus what I have available. The Verges are very good, but typically the you'd probably want to run like probably at least 8 sources of dual lands. Probably 9 is on the safer side. And so these are fairly good. Just depends on like what your vibe is. Like, do you want damage lands? Do you want lands that, there's a land, for instance, from Dustmourn that will enter tapped if someone has 13 lesser life. That one's not bad. I'd say that's probably the best one you can get because they have a chance to be untapped in a very fast meta that people lose life on quite quickly. The pain lands I just have an abundance of because I just played this set a lot, during this particular meta. So I have a lot of pain lands, for instance. I have some of these fast lands. The list land enters tapped unless you control 2 or a few other lands. That's pretty fantastic. These verges are just great here. And our mana base is pretty good. I mean, we have like 8 dual lands here that are all basically probably going to come in untapped on most circumstances. You can add like a man land here, like a Bibblewhack or 2. We can have a little bit more presence by putting a land that can become a creature. That's pretty fantastic. And then we're just kind of trimming these up, and then this is just like a tutorial. This is just an absolute tutorial. So yeah, this is a very nasty deck in the meta. It's very strong. I'd say the Itali's favors are just absolutely crazy, to be honest. So we just bust this right down to ranked and probably play like 2 matches and kind of showcase some of the synergies here along the way. Nice quick video to kind of get you acclimated. I'll put like the budget list in that will have just commons and uncommons, and this list seems fine the way it is too. Just the way it is, honestly, it's probably fine. And I'll post this one too. So Verge lands is just white mana here. Battlefield Verge until you get a Mounts or Plains. This one in particular is just ready to go for our red mana. It will hit us for a little damage. We can kind of get our Heartfire hero kind of busy if that's kind of what we want to do. Or we can just get in the damage now, kind of be on the aggressive side. See what they're gonna do. We can always get ward on this creature. Kellen, what are you gonna find, Kellen? What equipment? I think the play would probably be to get our fast land here. We can always plot this slick shot and go for a very explosive turn. What a scary card that thing is. It's just absolutely frightening. Okay, we're doing pretty well. I want to kind of showcase the Itali's favor, so that's what we're going to go right into. I think it's a very cool card, to be honest. We'll just put it on the flyer here. And we'll discover. Get your scoop. They're done. It's over. They didn't like that card. Well. Yeah, they didn't like that one. I mean, honestly, there's so many good hits there. There's and I think Discover is a cast, so I think it would proc our stuff again. But you could get into Sheltered by Ghosts. You could get into Wings of Flight. You can get into all the enchantments or other permanents. It's just kind of a vast array of riches there. Not too much. There wasn't too much pressure there. And this looks just obnoxious. I've been playing these as budget decks, and this mono red stuff is just, it's absolutely intolerable. These cards are so powerful. They're just, look at this guy, the Emberheart Challenger. And they're in green. They are in big trouble. Look at this gas. I have so much gasoline here. Oh, they're in, is this a black? Okay. They don't have that yet. Kind of wish I had a little bit. Let's try to enchant our little homie here and get that little buff. in resolves. That's crazy. I was hoping to get into a white land there, to be honest, just so we can have some protection available, but they're already at 10 life, which is crazy. Dinosaur. Are they gonna Carnosaur my Empire? That's a good play. I love that. Let's do this. Let's do a little discovering. Okay, sure. They're just dead, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. They're so dead. I have this Sharded Mage Rescue, a little protection. Even if they zombify here, I'm gonna just fly right over them. They are in some serious trouble right now. Plus the double white is just kind of extreme. YOLO. Spread the wealth. Rage. Two sources of just popping off right now. I mean, it's just a new world. What can I say, guys? Absolute new world here. This is so much easier than my Rakdos deck I was messing with today. It's way better. But the Rakdos list is cool too. Check that out, please. If you'd like to. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, this will happen. You'll be light on creatures sometimes, but hey, we've been running really hot, so you could always, like, wait too if they don't do anything. Hold up protection here. Could be in our bench's interest. Like, are we in a rush? Not exactly. That has haste. That's 3 damage to our face. This thing doesn't go in yet. So really interesting about the Scavenger is against these decks, they might require like a couple sources of removal. Like, they might have to go what I'd say good, like they might have to like try to cut this down and try to get us in like an awkward spot. But we could like basically do a monstrous rage on this, like a defensive rage. And this thing would still only get to 3 toughness though. Yeah. But it's just probably like in our best interest just to see what happens here. See what they're gonna do. Okay, make it 2. This comes in untapped, so we're gonna let this damage go through. They might have like some sort of removal spell here, back end, and they just let it go. What happens if I do like a monstrous rage here and they're in full control? Is there a reason for us to like kind of get into here, or just chill? I don't mind chilling out for a turn. We got pretty good mana. We can eat their Inti. I mean, this is a fantastic card. Okay, they're kind of putting up some damage here. Maybe I just lose to Monstrous Rage itself. I'm gonna gain a ton of life next turn if I don't die. Okay, so they're gonna get back their that's very good for them. They're gonna get back their Inti here. Okay, very well. I'm gonna lose my life gain. I'm gonna have to go pretty hard next turn. We're gonna have to probably rage now. Or put this on now, get the buff. I guess so. Armadillo's kind of an interesting one. It's kind of a good blocker, at least. I think we're supposed to go for another sheltered here. Let's buff up our homie. Ethereal armor is pretty good. Looking kind of dead. Just gonna be honest with their hasty fellows they have in this deck. Yeah, any removal. Yeah, that was good. The sharpshooter was pretty decent, I have to say. So we fell in this one. We fell in this match. I would say this creature count though seems fine. You know, I do think it's fine. I think you'll definitely have those matches where they kind of get to do their thing. That sharpshooter was very good. It's a very good card for this meta. Enter, destroy artifact or enchantment. Fantastic, really. I did get a card, right? So I could have went right into another sheltered. And that would happen sometimes too. Yeah, these seem like really good hands, you know. Let's try to get the white out of our hand. This is just very, very easy street, isn't it, guys? Yeah, this thing is just a menace, isn't it? Now they don't have really the colors to interact with it. And they're just toasted. Okay, I would like to go 4-1, I think, or 3-1. I don't know, these matches are so fast too. I think that's kind of like another like thing for a beginner player is that you'll enjoy the speed because you're kind of getting through the ranks and, you know, kind of getting some more points and such for your more wild cards, more upgrades. I mean, these hands are so good. They're just so aggressive. The boots. Honestly, I kind of like love this scavenger. I just like that it kind of scales up. I'm a big fan. I don't know what they might be. Arabella deck, Corey deck. Okay, I'm kind of curious to see how we do against the Corey deck. I'll be honest. I mean, considering like they were ultimate Voltron right now, I mean, we could considerably just rage them and do like a Feather of Flight and just win outright. I think that's like more than definitely possible. I don't think they'll win next turn, which I'm saying. I don't think they can do 18 hit points, but I think that like we could just win. You know, like with a couple of this action, you know, the Feather of Flight and the Scavenger. I mean, this is just a couple 2/2s here. I mean, obviously they'll get a little stronger next turn, but I mean, I feel like this is probably the way. I mean, we could just chill here. I mean, Sheltered by Coast is a card, so I guess we just swing. They could kill me next turn. I'll be honest, they could kill us now. Yeah, I mean, it's getting a little scary. 2 Quarry Steel Cutters, that's a lot. That's going to be a lot of bodies. And that's a card. That is a card. I had a feeling that they could have that. I think it kind of can come down to that, you know, where, you know, you're getting sheltered. That's a large swing. Sheltered by Ghosts would be an interesting card, I'll tell you that. How about a Monstrous Rage? Ah, so close. How about if I did that first? Would I have a chance? Ah, we came so far. They got us. These damn Quarry Steel Cutters. This is just kind of turning more into a video because I'm just addicted to this game. Swing. Yeah, good swing, opponent. I wish I had like first strike. Wait, does this have first strike? No, it doesn't. Sure, good game, homie. Good game. That's like the Sheltered by Ghost difference. You can see how powerful that card is, just a wrecking ball. But we had almost got there just like going like full out on our Scavenger. Alright, we'll try to get one more so we're kind of, our win rate is kind of acceptable. It looks like we've gone up a rung. We want to have like at least 2 rungs. There, we got the card this time. Once again though, nope. We're not really like so inclined just to throw our Scavenger into the mix. Having like a show-off helps. That kind of takes the pressure off a little bit, I would say. That's very tempting. I mean, do I even care, really? I don't know if I even care about that. We can shelter our Slick Shot and give them a really tough time because they're definitely kind of gonna have trouble if they don't touch my Scavenger. I'll be able to buff this up and get it out of a lot of ranges. Okay, not too frightened yet. This is gonna get a little weird probably pretty soon. But I'm not dead. We'll be eating that next turn. For sure. And yeah, we're in a very commanding position again. Just with the Sheltered by Ghosts, the slick shots, fantastic. They're a little late on that. Alright, so we can just do this on end step and just beef up our guy a little bit more. And it looks like the favor is kind of where we want to be here. They could Shelter by Ghosts my Shelter by Ghosts. I've seen that move before. But they wouldn't be able to hit my show off. They just get their little dumb mouse back. Now this guy has trample still, so. Now what? Another one? Do you have 2 Sheltered by Ghosts? Rage. It's a lot of life. That's 12 hit points. And that's just dead. Yep, GG. Had spells to go. Couple spells to go there. Well, we went up 2 runks today, so we demonstrated that you can rank up with this deck. It's definitely, I think, beginner friendly too. So I will definitely be, excuse me, providing like a budget list in here too, so you can have a difference. But mainly the only difference is probably these cards. I mean, they obviously are very fantastic. And the mana base, of course, will change too for you. You can see, like, if you want to invest, you're probably looking about, you know, a couple more rare wild cards. The show-offs were fantastic. Even the Armadillo was fine, I'd say. So you probably want the Helpful Hunters to get in some cards. Or maybe another creature that maybe you prefer that's like a little bit on the faster side. Maybe another Haster. You know, if you wanted to go for speed. It just depends on like kind of what you're looking for, really. But overall, I just kind of dug the deck. I thought it was pretty fantastic. And like I said, I'll definitely put in a budget list in there for you guys too. And that'll be it. So thank you so much for joining me. And consider liking and sharing with your friends. Bye.